I chose Joshua Tree National Park. Joshua Tree is located in Southern California. It is near Los Angeles, San Diego, and Las Vegas, and it is situated between the Mojave Desert and the San Bernardino Mountains. The early history and people date back to 10,000 years ago. They were the Pinto people and culture. Not much is known about them other than the fact that they were nomadic hunters and gatherers that used simple tools with arrowheads. Then, around 5,000 years ago, 4 groups of native communities lived in Joshua Tree Park. They were the Serenos, the Cahuillas, the Chemehuevi, and the Mojaves. There is now a stronger sense of community and culture that can be seen through the advancement of tools and techniques used for hunting and gathering, as well as petroglyphs and art found all within the park. Then the first Western civilization to reach the park was Spanish soldiers in search for Native Americans to convert to Christianity, and then in the early 1800s there were American fur trappers led by Jedediah Smith who explored the area. From 1860 to 1940 there were 300 active mines that searched for gold, silver, copper, zinc, and iron, and in the park today there are still 188 abandoned mines. Joshua Tree became a national monument in 1936 thanks to Minerva Hoyt for being an activist and pushing FDR to sign it. He was able to sign it thanks to the Antiquities Act, which was created by Theodore Roosevelt, which allowed any president to create national monuments from federal lands to protect natural, cultural, or scientific features. Then, on October 31st, 1994, Bill Clinton signed the national monument to become a park thanks to the Desert Protection Act. I've included a few photos of some Mojave Native Americans, and the arrowhead is from a Pinto people, and there's some art, a photo of an abandoned mine, and also I included a photo of Minerva Hoyt, who was the activist who pushed for the park to become a monument, and they even named a mountain after her due to her dedication for conservation within desert land. Joshua Tree sits right on the edge of the North American tectonic plate. Around 270 million years ago, the North American plate collided with the Farallon plate that sat under the Pacific Ocean. Due to subduction, the oceanic Farallon plate was forced back into the asthenosphere. The heat from the asthenosphere and below gases caused water to be released from the Farallon plate. The hot water and gases began to rise, and the surrounding rocks melted and created magma. Over time, these now formed magma chambers began to cool. The magma cooled into granitic stone, and after millions of years and due to high pressure, the stones cracked, and since then the ground has been eroding away, bringing the stone closer and closer to the surface. Due to the rainwater seeping into the cracks and continuous erosion, the stone has reached the surface, and those are the unique formations that we are able to see at Joshua Tree today. The flora and fauna at Joshua Tree. Joshua trees are part of the ecosystem in the Mojave Desert, hence the name of the park. They provide food and habitat to local species, and they have been around for over 1,000 years and can live for up to 500 years. These trees provide shelter and food to multiple species throughout the park. Some say the name Joshua comes from the Mormon settlers that thought the tree shape reminded them of the Bible story in which Joshua keeps his hand reached up for an extended period of time. There are 44 flora that are unique to the Joshua Tree climate, including the chala cactus and the ocotillo plant. The fauna is also extremely diverse within Joshua Tree. There are 16 species of bats, mostly that all live in the abandoned mines, 250 species of birds, 46 different reptiles, including 7 different types of rattlesnakes, and there are many rodents such as desert rats, mice, squirrels, chipmunks, gophers. There are also shrew badgers and rabbits. There are large mammals such as mule deer, bighorn sheep, and even bears. The main predators are coyotes, kit foxes, and bobcats. Joshua Tree National Park recreational activities. Some activities I would like to do if I visited Joshua Tree were to use the backcountry roads. They allow bikes and four-wheelers, and so you get to do, I would choose to do the geological tour road, which takes you through 6 miles of all of the landscape, and you get to see a lot of the unique geological features. I would also do a four-wheel drive, which I've never done before in a national park, but I think it'd be really awesome to be out in the open land and, get to go fast on all these back roads. I would also go hiking, and I would go to an abandoned gold mill that's just about 2.2 miles down the trail, and I would also go see the petroglyphs near Barker Dam Trail, which is just 1.3 miles down. I would also love to stargaze. The Cottonwood Campground has the darkest skies, and the photos are absolutely beautiful. The issues inside Joshua Tree National Park start off with vandalism. There's a lot of off-roading, so because of the backcountry roads, people start to think it's okay to go off-roading. There's also tons of spray painting all over the rocks, and there's a lot of damage to the Joshua trees. Like the photo, bottom left photo, people literally snap the trees, which I don't even know how is possible. But I think unfortunately, due to the location of the park and it being near three major cities, especially LA, I've seen a lot of influencers just go there to do photo shoots and stuff, which isn't inherently bad, but when they're posting it all over social media, of them doing kind of reckless things within these parks, I don't think it sets a good tone, and it might attract the wrong people who aren't, going to the park to learn, explore, observe, and they don't really know the leave no trace. There's also obvious climate change happening. There's an increase in heat, which leads to the wildfires. There is erratic rain, and there are longer droughts. There's also a decline in biodiversity. Um, Last year, the Dome Fire killed 1.3 million Joshua trees. The tree and other species do not have enough time to naturally adapt to the climate change that is happening to around them, and so they go extinct. This hypothetical biodiversity loss will create further consequences that can even lead to the destruction of the entire ecosystem. Each flora and fauna has a role and works together in order to create a healthy ecosystem. By completely destroying even one species, a waterfall effect will take place and lead to the downfall of even more species and eventually the whole ecosystem. Biologists are fearful that the Joshua tree will completely go extinct by the next generation. Another issue is invasive species. There are 57 invasive flora species, but only 10 are being actively pursued as posing immediate threats, such as the tamarisk, which is using up so much water that is needed by the wildlife, and there are also non-native grasses competing and killing the regular grass and wheat. Another threatening example to the park is cheatgrass and red brome grass, which easily carries fire, unlike the natural prairie grass that is resistant to fire. So there are definitely plenty of issues within the park, and I hope that I can one day visit and that the park is able to be conserved long enough for generations and generations.